Oh, yes, here we go. I'm doing a live, Facebook Live.
Hello, I think we're live.
Oh, okay. It hasn't loaded on my page, but if we are.
Says to me that the meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. So hello, everybody. I think we've finally got it organised.
Oh my goodness, that will be amazing, except I can't see myself.
Oh, no. Well,
that's okay. We'll just keep going. It's the least of our worries.
Absolutely. I want to just check and see if it's actually happening.
I am too. So actually, here we go. It is live. I can see it on.
Woo! Oh, hallelujah. Cool. That's awesome.
I finally figured it out, guys. Right. We are here today, Sharon and I, to introduce sleep and how you can have better skin and know what is going on with your hormones. So I thought we would start with, clearly we know what sleep is. Sharon's going to cover what's happening in your body or in your mind, in your brain when sleep is going on, because there's quite a lot of functions going on. And then also I'll cover what's not happening if you don't get enough sleep, just so we can really focus in on why we need to get our sleep right.
Absolutely. Arianna Huffington had a great quote that I found in her book, Thrive, where she said, "A life devoid of movement, sleep, and nourishing food is draining and will age you quickly as it overtaxes your immune, endocrine, and central nervous systems." And how true is that?
Yeah, I know. Makes you feel pretty blah.
And the last thing we want to do is do anything that's going to age us any faster than we already are.
Yes. So also a good note there too is aging. So I obviously deal with aging from the outside as well as the inside, but we see the outside. But clearly if we haven't had a good night's sleep, we might look and feel like we are looking older.
Yep.
So sags under the eyes, dark circles, puffiness, that type of thing can make us feel a lot more tired than we actually are as well.
And generally, again, this is very general, most people need 7 to 9 hours sleep every night. And women tend to need a little bit more sleep than men, which explains why my husband can often wake up and bounce out of bed at 6 o'clock. And I'm like, do not talk to me. I need at least another hour.
I think too, we've got a lot as women. This is just my perspective. We've got a lot more going on, haven't we, Sharon, with hormones and all that jazz?
So much. Well, when we sleep, there are some pretty critical activities that go on while we're in a sleep state. And as you've heard both Vicky and I say, your sleep is meant to be restorative, because things that happen is your internal organs actually rest and recover during this time. Your tissues repair and your muscles grow. Hormones, that wonderful little state that we get into, hormones that regulate your appetite, stress, growth, metabolism, and other bodily functions are actually released then. And this is when your memory consolidation occurs. So when you're trying to learn something and imprint something, when you sleep, that's when that all happens. So not getting sleep, you've disrupted all of those finely balanced little systems.
Yeah. So this means that obviously you're not, so sometimes we think, okay, I can't remember my dreams. And part of that dream process is the whole left brain, right brain, and storing things back into our cupboards of information so we can reach back when we need it and bring it out. So we've kind of processed it and stored it. So not having enough sleep definitely impacts your memory and also that cognitive performance. So being able to recall things very quickly. And I know as we get into hormones, we sometimes have that brain fog or lack of clarity that happens, and we don't have that recall facility right at our fingertips. It doesn't kind of happen quite as quickly as it used to. If we're not getting enough sleep, it also lowers our immune system and can be linked to several medical conditions. So go Google, if I don't get enough sleep, what conditions would I get? So there's a number of different medical conditions. And also it contributes to weight gain if you're not getting enough sleep. So we're going to cover all those. Apart from that, before you go on, skin and aging. So as far as lines go, your skin repairs and regenerates, as does your whole body, but it's particularly noticeable on your skin. So your skin's the largest organ of your body, but it's also the least important, if you like, from a body perspective, because your heart and your lungs and your brain are far more important than your skin from a survival perspective. So at night, your body can just tick along doing all its repair mechanisms, and your skin goes, it's my time. So we'll share a little bit later on some rituals that you can do for your skin that actually help, the repair process, but also trigger the sleep thing to happen a bit quicker as well.
Cool. Now, I'm going to cover, there's actually quite a lot, as you'd imagine, when it comes to hormones and sleep. Quite a lot.
Yes.
But what I'm going to do is cover the three main areas where your sleep is impacted. And the first one of those is low cortisol. So being in a continually stressed state, and sometimes we're not actually aware of it, if you are in one of these for long enough, your cortisol levels are going to be continually pounding up here. Your adrenal glands are just going to be pumping up because you've got to 100% of the time you're running from that bear that's trying to eat you. As we've said, your body doesn't know the difference between actual danger and you being pissed off at an email you got or whatever's going on in your life. But what happens is your body will actually stop responding to that pinging from your adrenal glands. And what happens over time is you will actually have low cortisol. I know that sounds, I'm going to cover high cortisol in a minute, but low cortisol, and that comes from a long period of time where you've had that high cortisol output, or you've got an autoimmune disease known as Addison's. So that actually impacts your adrenal glands and they just don't produce enough cortisol. So some of the symptoms of low cortisol can include fatigue, which ranges from low level to crippling, like can't get out of bed, can't move kind of fatigue. But it also is difficulty staying asleep, and then oddly enough, difficulty waking in the morning. And even if you think you've slept, you don't feel like you have. That's low cortisol.
That's actually what I had in my 20s when I had the adrenal fatigue. So it felt like you were run over by a bus. You were that tired.
And it is actually misnamed as adrenal fatigue in some ways. It's not that your adrenals are tired, it's more that your body's just stopped listening to them because there's just too many messages. It just can't cope with it. High cortisol, as we know, comes from emotional, mental, or physical stress that's going on. And this stress can also be food allergies, food sensitivities can cause stress, physical stress from over-exercising, things like that, eating disorders, or extreme eating, that all causes physical stress within your body. And high cortisol can leave you, I'm sure you've heard, and certainly we've said it, that saying, you're feeling tired but wired. So you're exhausted, you just feel, but you are just so, you're so wired up, you cannot sleep. And so that means that you've got difficulty falling asleep and or staying asleep. Then we come to thyroid, and we've talked about thyroid before. When your thyroid is not functioning properly, for whatever reason, it could be because your adrenals are going crazy, you've got a gut imbalance, whatever else, but you're producing less of the thyroid hormone that you need. And that's due to either excess or insufficient cortisol production, because they're all, as I've mentioned before, they're all intertwined. It can also come from your thyroid, from the xenoestrogens, which again, we've talked about being in your skincare that you've got to be very careful about, and nutrient deficiencies like selenium, iodine, vitamin D, and some amino acids. And I know you've heard me often enough go on about vitamin D for so many reasons. Fatigue is one of the things that you suffer from with low thyroid. And it's, as I have no thyroid at the moment, well, I'm not going to have one again, but fatigue is something that I battle with all the time. There's also sensitivity to cold, which you can imagine this morning, oh dear God, I nearly froze to death. So constantly with cold hands and feet. At the moment, I'm living with my hot water bottle.
So if you're in Auckland watching this, in Melbourne today, we had, I think it was it 6 degrees? 5 degrees, but the feel-like temperature was 0.6.
Yeah, it was mighty cold when I had to take my son to school
foggy
this morning. Yeah, now all of these things, the fatigue, the insomnia, the brain fog, the sluggishness, whatever else that we attribute to hormones in your perimenopausal, menopausal state, it doesn't have to be that way. Looking to reduce your stress, improve your cortisol, look after your thyroid, looking after your hormone health can bring you much better sleep and obviously hormonal balance.
Yeah. And one of the things that I hear a lot from my clients, and I know I experienced it to some degree, it wasn't too bad, was that as hormones change, as we go through our normal changes, which is that entering menopause, so that 10 years before menopause happens and then afterwards, is that those changes are actually happening in our brain. And so it does impact and change our sleep. So it's looking at factors that can really help improve that and becoming more aware of what are your triggers. So what are the things that you perhaps had been able to get away with, like looking at your iPhone till all hours of the evening before bedtime, like you might have been able to do that, but now you can't because it might be one of the factors that are interrupting your sleep pattern.
But it's also too, when it comes to your hormones, is actually taking a step back and looking and thinking about what's going on, what has happened, what's changed, what were you doing, why, where are you within your cycle, if you're still, within a cycle, and being gentle, exploring, being a detective and trying to figure out, well, okay, this has changed from last month. Have I started doing anything differently? Have I been eating differently? Where's my mood? Where's my stress levels? And just becoming aware of where you are, and then being very, very gentle with yourself, because when you do hit that perimenopausal state, your estrogen and progesterone are going to be going up and down and fluctuating, which, as Vicky said, impacts your sleep. If you're highly stressed, gosh, it sounds going to sound like so much fun. If you're stressed as well and your cortisol levels are up, thyroid levels are down, you've got your progesterone and estrogen going up and down, it is a nightmare. And it is a nightmare because I've been through it. So having that awareness and being gentle with yourself and not pushing until you've sort of got a plan is really important.
So one of my plans for that over that period of time, and this is for anyone, but particularly if you're not doing this and you're in that hormonal quagmire, this is a good time to implement it, is actually trying to trigger our natural human growth hormone. So this actually helps build our immune system. It releases serotonin, which is one of our hormones that we need for sleep, which also helps our immune system, but it's good for growth. So it's cell repair and growth for every facet of your body, including muscle repair, which is important for women as we get older. We need every muscle repairing factor that we can, because with less estrogen, it depletes it. And also for skin. So if you want to keep your skin plump and hydrated and juicy and full and firm, then the hormone, the human growth hormone, which we naturally have in our body, it does deplete as we age. So, and it's released every 3 to 4 hours in our sleep, and depends on our circadian rhythms. But before midnight is a good time to get to sleep, so that you have obviously a longer period of time that you can release that cycle of growth hormone. So the more you have, that's why they call it beauty sleep. It is actually a real thing. You can actually regenerate, and it has been shown. There was a study done in Scotland, actually commissioned by Estee Lauder. Can you believe that word's not coming out of my mouth? In Scotland, to show sleep-deprived women between the ages of 30 and 60 showed signs of premature aging and the skin's ability to recover after, and it was environmental damage. It says sun damage on the tests, but it's any kind of environmental damage. And interestingly also showed that the participants' perception or their own assessment of their skin was much lower after less sleep than if they had more sleep. So it is also our perception as well as the actual fact that your skin's not repairing as much. So one of the skin things that I teach my ladies, everyone, guys as well, is at night create some rituals. So it's like having a bedtime routine, like you've got kids. You know how in kids we do that, you know, you have your dinner, then you have your bath, and then you can, you know, the warm heat of the bath, and you might put oils in, and then you massage or moisturize or whatever you're going to do with them. Then you lie in bed and you have a bedtime story, and then they drift off to sleep. Well, you know what, as adults, we still need to have that kind of routine. And it sounds really daft, but we're not meant to be stimulated at night. So we need to calm down. So no phones, and that's that nighttime hygiene we talk about, or sleep hygiene. But when it comes to brushing your teeth at night, just before you hop into bed, you do a 2-minute routine with your brushing your teeth. So do a 2-minute routine with your skin. Wash off your, if you've got makeup on, wash off your makeup. If you don't wear makeup, wash off the day. So psychologically and physically, we're getting rid of pollution and stuff that gets stuck on our skin. But also from a psychological perspective, we are washing away the stresses. We're looking at lowering that cortisol of the day, and then you're nourishing. So it doesn't take any more time to then quickly put on some night cream. So the night cream then is more nourishing. It's going to work on repairing more. It also, what's on your skin at night is absorbed better than during the day. So that's why there's a difference between a night cream and a day cream. Day cream's more sitting on top and protecting, usually has sunblock on it. Night cream's more feeding, nourishing, getting your cells to turn over. So it's working in a deeper level, and firming serums and all those kind of things. That's the time to put it on, because your skin will receive it. It'll go down deeper. It uses it because it's in the phase. It's a right phase, nighttime, for repairing. And then also by using that ritual, taking time, you've got the smell, you've got tactile hands massaging. So the touch really starts releasing different hormones. And then you're going into bed. So whether you do your meditation or whatever your ritual is at night, it actually is setting yourself up for better sleep.
Excellent. I love that. I love that too. I always try, and when I wash my face, I just visualize that I'm not only cleaning my face, but I'm washing, as you say, washing away the day, washing away what happened, washing away, you know, the good, well, not the good necessarily, but, you know, just washing it all off and just being able to shed it. It's a great, great thing to do. So getting a good night's sleep. You've mentioned that beautiful routine with skin, which is a beautiful way to set yourself up. But there's also nutritionally some very simple things we can do. And it can be, and I know it's going to be one that some of you will go, can't do, but what's your caffeine intake? Sorry, don't have coffee too late in the day. And watch your alcohol, because alcohol will also interfere with your sleep.
Yes. And sugary foods.
Yes, and processed sugary foods, absolutely.
Or drinks, sugary drinks even.
And sometimes too, having a light meal for your dinner is far better for you than, you know, the big one. Much better. And nighttime snacking, please don't do nighttime snacking.
I was just going to say that last meal, and I sometimes fall into this trick because I work at night. So it's a pattern we have to get into. It's more of a mindset pattern. But to eat your last meal by 7 p.m, depends on what time you go to bed. But so there's a 3 or 4 hour gap, so that your body's not in digestion mode. It's in rest and repair mode.
Because digestion requires energy.
That's right.
And depending on what you've eaten, you know, again, your adrenal glands might kick in. So
dessert, alcohol.
Oh yeah, and you know, your body's trying to relax, and it's got all this stuff going on in there. It's just not great. And also too, with the liquids, try not to drink anything too late into the evening, because, you know, that then will often lead to the
getting up in the middle of the night.
The late night run to the toilet, to have a pee.
I know for me, I have a herbal tea because I do have a sweet tooth. So to trick myself into going, oh, so my thing is I'm tired, I want to eat. So this is something to be aware of, be mindful of what are your triggers. So when I'm tired, I really probably should go to bed, but I like to have some downtime after work before bed. So I have a herbal tea. The only thing is I nearly always will have to get up to go to the bathroom.
Yep. And the trick is, hopefully you can this is what I try to work on, actually do that activity and get back into bed and go back to sleep.
Yep.
What you don't need is doing that and then have your husband go, hey, I'm awake, are you? Let's talk. It's like, no, I'm trying to get back to sleep here. So you mentioned, Vicky, that playing around on your phone late at night is not a good idea, and that's on so many levels. But there are also a few other things that we can do to our environment to help us move into that sleep state. So we've looked at, we might be having a dinner at night. We're not doing our snacking late anymore. We're watching what our coffee and our alcohol. We're not having a late night drink. That's that side of it. So there's also, we've got the ritual of cleaning our skin and that little beauty routine. But there are also other things that we can do within our environment that will help us move into a sleep state.
So definitely having a cooler room rather than a warmer room. So if you're in a tropical environment, which I don't think any of us are right now, and we can't go away on holiday and have that problem.
I was going to say, that's not too hard at the minute. Just open the window.
Exactly. So that's the other thing, is a well-ventilated room. So making sure if you're sleeping, particularly if there's two of you in a room and you're in your bedroom, so this may apply to teenagers, all day, every day, especially with COVID and we're self-isolating, if you're in your room all day, the CO2 levels can actually inhibit your sleep hormones, your melatonin and serotonin levels. So make sure it's well ventilated and cooler, and obviously blackout curtains if possible. So light.
That's a really good point. I don't think I was aware of that. I mean, I knew of ventilating your room and actually trying to get an exchange of air coming in and out. But I wasn't actually thinking about the CO2 levels.
That's why they say green plants are actually really good in your bedroom. So but of course you usually have it dimmer, yes, or African violets, or something that doesn't need a lot of light, or maidenhair ferns, those kind of things soak up lots of CO2.
They do.
And kick out oxygen. So it's much better for our brain to be getting the oxygen in.
Another thing that's interesting that I came across too is actually we've been doing a lot of decluttering of our wardrobes and our houses. But don't forget to declutter your bedroom. That's just as important as, having piles of stuff around the house, having piles of clothes and, stuff that you didn't know what to do with that you've got shoved in the corner, and maybe you've got a lot of stuff kind of shoved under the bed. That all kind of impinges on our head. And even something as simple as making your bed in the morning so that when you come in at night, you've got this lovely looking bed that's inviting you to just jump into it.
Oh yeah, I love a made bed. Made beds are my friend. I love it. Clean sheets. You know what? You have the best sleep. No, I'm not suggesting you do this every day, but the day that you've changed the sheets on your bed, do you notice you have a much better sleep at night? Fresh linen. Oh, so nice. Oh,
I know, especially when you go to bed and you've washed your hair, you've had a shower, you're all clean.
Yeah.
You jump into those clean, fresh sheets.
Yeah.
It's just like,
you can actually spritz your linen with like lavender spray or something. I mean, I'm not suggesting you iron your sheets, but in the old days they would have done that. But you can spritz it as you're kind of folding it up, and then when you make your bed, it's like, whew, you get those nice relaxation things happening in your body.
And there are things like you mentioned, so the ritual with your skincare, but also, journaling at night can sometimes help get all the stuff that's going on in here, can get it out onto paper so you're not having it in there. And other like meditation too, and maybe some relaxing yoga can help you get into
Yes.
that sleep state too.
So that's another point, is making sure you're moving enough during the day, but do high impact stuff in the morning, because it actually helps your
Yes.
cortisol, which should be higher in the morning anyway. But if it peaks then, it's actually on that decline. So it's not
Yes.
high at night. Don't do unless you absolutely have to do a high impact stuff at night. Don't do that.
No, very good point, because again, your cortisol will go up.
Will go up. Yes.
Which is, it does that naturally, but you're placing that physical stress on your body. So then you've got to try and bring those cortisol levels back down.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, expanding that skincare is building that bedtime routine. So that it's telling your brain, it's telling your body, this is what we're doing. We're about to get into bed with our crisp, clean sheets, and we're all relaxed and ready for a good, restorative, deep, restful sleep.
Yes. There are some foods that actually trigger L-tryptophan, which is one of our hormones that we need for better sleep or deeper. It triggers more sleeping. So you can include this in your evening meal. It actually helps if you are having lots of trouble with sleep. It may be worth including these in your dinners. So things like walnuts, pumpkin, beans, lentils, spinach, soy, not genetically modified, broccoli. So they all increase your serotonin, your melatonin.
Yes, cherries are also very good.
Yes.
For improving your melatonin.
Yes, they are. So you can just Google stuff, what's good for increasing melatonin, what foods, and then try and get those in your evening meal. Dairy, obviously, and because the higher your protein and amino acids at night, also actually gets that L-tryptophan to work. So that's why in the old days they said have a glass of warm milk.
Yeah.
We might not all have dairy nowadays, but you can use almond milk.
True. Very true.
Or you can have a protein shake with almond, but you don't have to have the whole lot. You know how you make it up and you're like, oh, I'm never going to get through that. Just have a third of it and put the rest in the fridge. So you don't have to have a lot from a calorie perspective. You just need enough to start triggering those hormones if you find it hard to get to sleep. If
and
you're waking,
I was going to say, honey, and the thing is to take a look at what you can do and just start making some small changes and seeing how they, whether or not they have an impact, whether your sleep does improve or whether your sleep might not improve that you're aware of, but you're actually waking up feeling a little bit more rested. And just add them in and change them where needed and just find out what works for you.
Yeah, find out what your triggers are. There is actually something that Sharon and I both started, but I've noticed I take this product called Protandim, and one of the ingredients in there is bacopa, so which is a herb. And I have noticed since taking that, and also I've noticed my husband sleeps a lot better. He sleeps longer and doesn't wake up in the night and come downstairs because he can't sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, amazing. And I have not necessarily slept longer, but I am definitely sleeping deeper. So I can tell when I wake, I'm waking before my alarm, which is like, unheard of. I'm still going to bed at the same time and I'm still getting up at the same time, but I'm waking before and I'm feeling like, oh, it's time to get up. And then also when I'm up, I'm definitely feeling that brain clarity. I don't know if I'm actually remembering things more. We'll pass the test on that one a little bit later. But certainly for the depth of sleep, I'm noticing that I feel more rested because I think that is a deeper sleep. And I didn't think I had a problem sleeping, but I knew that I was a light sleeper. So like if Aaron got up, I would wake. Whereas now, sometimes he will get up earlier than me and to train and go off cycling or whatever. And I'm not even waking.
Wow.
And it's like half an hour before I normally get up. So I'm clearly only waking moments before my alarm.
Yeah.
But it's that deep rested sleep, which is making such a big difference. So yeehaw to that one, which I wasn't expected because that wasn't an issue for me. I didn't have a problem with sleep. So,
well, the other thing that it will be working on, which again I love, is the ashwagandha helping to support your adrenal glands and your thyroid. And in combination, it will be helping to just calm, your body will be calming down. The bacopa helping with the clarity and the focus, but also the sleep.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. I too, I've been getting up early for a little while, and I've noticed this morning, actually, I woke up just before the alarm. So I woke up, opened my eyes, and the alarm went off. So I was like, onto it.
Nice.
Mm.
Feels good. Feels
It
good
does.
when you're rested. You just have a little bit more, it's not like hyper energy, but it's just like ready for the day. And over time, I think this helps with, how we look and also how we feel we look. So if we want to keep, if you want to use sleep to help stay younger, not that we will be turning back the clock, but it will actually just lessen our lines, our deep lines, because our collagen will be firm and all those body processes will be much happier. So that's all I had, I think. I had loads and loads of notes, but that was pretty much the crux of it.
Same. I had heaps. There's so much we could talk about, so much we could cover, but
if you have any questions, you can post them in.
Let us know. I haven't checked to see if anybody has put any questions in.
I have. There's no questions. So
okay, cool.
Keep going, but feel free to add any comments after if you've had a watch and you think of something. Perhaps if you are waking in the night and can't get back to sleep and meditation is not working and relaxation is not working, then look at the foods, try some of those things that we gave you earlier, and then if not, reach out to one of us and we can help you through more of a personalized solution.
And one thing we were going to ask you guys to do as well, we've done, I think, 5 or 6 weeks now of different topics. So we've covered thyroid, adrenal, sleep, obviously, anti-aging, gut health, and oxidative stress. We're going to put a little poll up in the group, and you can just let us know. What would you like us to talk about? Because we love coming live to you now that we've got it figured out. And talking about these things that get us excited and will help you. So have a think about it and let us know.
See you next week, same time, live on Facebook now.
Yay!